Hi everybody, this is Oksana. Today I'm going to show you how to make this beaded bracelet here. And here's the little clasp. It basically works like a little hook. You slide the little loop off the hook and back on to close. So if you want to see how I made this, just keep watching. So I'm going to be using 2 pieces of 21 gauge square wire, and you can use round as well. I'm using square so that I can twist it for that twisted look. And 21 gauge, maybe 20, it really depends on your beads. And what you can do to test is you can just see if 2 pieces of the wire will fit through the hole of your bead. So these 2 do, see that? So you will need beads with rather large holes to them. I don't know if you can see that, there we go. And to find these, I just searched online. I forget where I got this because it was several years ago. But I'm going to be using amethyst and blue goldstone beads. And you just want to search for bead with large hole. Maybe you can go to like a Michael's or AC Moore and look to see if there's any there. They don't have to be beads exactly. They can be just any kind of little charms and things. You know, they don't have to be like little gemstone beads. But that's really the trickiest part, is finding something that will fit both wires through. And worst case scenario, if you just find absolutely nothing that'll work, because what the beads are used for is they'll hold the 2 wires together, because the wires will go through it and they'll be able to like separate them out and they'll kind of stay together where the bead is. You can always get just another wire and wrap around, and that'll be like your bead, quote unquote. So 2 pieces, 22 inches each. And what I'm gonna do to one of these is I'm just gonna twist it, and this is totally optional, but if you're using square wire like me, you can twist it. What you do is you have 1 set of pliers holding the end of your wire, and then with another set of pliers, you just grab and twist. And you just twist a few times, and then you kind of move up, 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 and just twist so the whole entirety of the wire is twisted for this kind of look. It's up to you if you want that or not. So what you want to do next, if you did twist, then choose the wire that is non-twisted out of your 2 wires and fold it in half. And so this is, you know, the half, and you want to use your pliers to get it just completely flat, like that. And then what you want to do is you want to take some round nose pliers, and you want to pick up that little tip just a little bit, and then you want to go just a little further down and make a bend like that. And then just another little bend. This is going to be the hook part of our clasp. And now you want to take your other wire, the twisted wire, also bend it in half. And almost just wrap it 1 time. So it's just like 1 little wrap around this way. And with your pliers, you can just squish that down, that little wrap that you made. So otherwise it's gonna like slide all around. So what you want to do now is you want to separate out, sorry, I don't have a lot of room here. All these wires are like hitting my camera. You wanna separate this out, the bottom wires. And then the top wires are twisted wires in this case. You want them to just kind of come down and come together like this. And now you can slide your bead on. So this is the blue goldstone bead. I'm going to be alternating this with the amethyst. So I do want this to be a little higher, and just kind of squish with your pliers. Okay, and now we're just gonna separate these wires so that the bead doesn't slide down. Then we're gonna take the next wires, and so we're always gonna be putting the wires over the top, so not under, but over. All right, so like that. And you can have this be kind of larger and wider. You can have it be right up against the bead. But what you want to do after you determine that is make two little bends like this. So this way when the bead slides on, it'll just hold it in place right there. It's going to slide exactly to that bend point. So now I'm just going to put on my amethyst bead. I'm going to slide it up. Then I'm going to open these up. Okay, here's what it looks like so far. So again, going over top of the previous wires is our next set of wires. And this has a tendency to curve naturally, which is fine because it's a bracelet and we want it to be curved. So I'm just going to put in my little bend here so that when I take my next bead, it'll just sit right there where the bend is. All right, so just like this. And we're just going to keep going. This is just going to be repetitive, so I think that this next portion I will just do off camera because I'm going to be literally doing just the same thing over and over and over. All right, so here's what I have so far. I'm kind of aiming for about 7.5 inches. So it's a little less, but I figured by the time I make the clasp and everything, it'll probably be. And then there's some extra wire, so if you need it to be more like 8 inches, I think you can make that out of that 22-inch length that we started with. But if you need it to be longer, then you probably want to cut your original wires a little longer. So what I'm gonna do now is I have these wires come into the front. Normally I would bend them, put another bead on, but I'm actually, just ending this and making the clasp. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take these wires. I'm gonna bend them around one at a time. It's almost just making little loops. See how I cut it there? And now I'm just closing up that loop. And same with this one. Bend it around, trim it. And then just kind of close that little loop up. So it looks like this. And now what I'm gonna do is take one of these wires and bend it out of the way completely, and then take another wire and I'm gonna make a loop. So I'm just gonna grab with my pliers, make a little bend, and then go kind of midway on my round nose pliers to make a loop like this. And then I'm gonna take the end. I'm gonna hold my loop with my pliers so it doesn't move. And I'm just gonna wrap that little end around. just a few times. So you do kind of want to determine what's going to be your front and what's going to be your back, and how you want the clasp to go, whether you want to close it like sideways or front to back. That all is something that you just kind of have to figure out what you like, and then you can always kind of move it around if you're not happy with the side that you chose, so it's not a big deal. So I have this little end, and you know, the very beginning end as well. So I'm gonna have them both go this way in the same direction. And if you have a better idea of how to finish these off, feel free to do that. But I am just going to make little loops with them. So that's why I kind of line them up next to each other. So I just have one loop going one direction and then one right underneath. Just flatten those down a little bit. Fix this little, this little loop here. So kind of looks like this. And now we just need to bend this. So if you have a bracelet mandrel, you can bend it around that. A water bottle, anything that's round that you can bend around. Or you can just freehand it like I'm doing here. And then this little circular loop part goes through the clasp, and that is how the clasp works. So here we go. This is the bracelet. This is the clasp. My little loop kind of shifted out of place, so I'm just going to fix it a little bit here. Actually, I'm going to just wrap this around and not have just have the one loop. I think I want just the one loop and not two. So I'm opening up my bottommost loop and I'm just wrapping it around, squishing it down. So I basically just have that one little loop and then the circle. And the clasp, so you can leave it like this. I like it when it's on the side. It makes it a little easier for me to close versus just like up and down like that. You'll see what I mean once I turn it. So I'm just turning it with my pliers. So it's kind of like this. It's like a sideways clasp. Like that. I just find it easier to open close, but it's totally up to you. So that is it. That's how you make this bracelet. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.